Contestant number 1, Toastmaster Rahul. Toastmaster Rahul, contestant number 1.
Craft and scientific decision by Toastmaster 17. You gave a very good start to the speech where you took us through a journey of the members in your family, and specifically you talked a lot about an astrologer, Gopal, from your family, who gave a lot of predictions, and those turned out to have an influential impact on many people's lives. It was a very good start, I felt, and it engaged the audience in my opinion, it engaged the audience quite well, and there were a lot of books here and there which kept the story quite engaging, and it made sure that we could, as an audience, follow along in the story, and we could expect what is coming up in the story. You also made very good use of the stage, and you also had good eye contact with all the members of the audience as well. And I noticed that because of your body language and vocal cues, you were able to keep the audience quite engaged. There is one suggestion I have in your speech, which is that I noticed that you tend to use a lot of technical terms related to astrology, which I feel not everyone must have followed. But regardless of that, it was a very good speech and a very engaging speech, I feel. And by looking at the title, I noticed that this was an inspirational speech where you're talking about getting trapped in a decision, and then the expectation is that you would come out with an inspirational thought at the end, and you did provide a message which said that we should not get trapped in scientific decisions and we should take control of our own life. So in summary, I feel your message of taking control of our life and not getting trapped in scientific decisions was a good message that I think resonated with everyone else in the audience. If you could implement that one change, which is to not make use of too many technical terms and keep them light and simple so that the audience can also engage with your thoughts and resonate with your thoughts, I think that would be quite beneficial. So that is my evaluation, and I hope you try to incorporate these changes in your future speeches, and best of luck with your forthcoming speeches.
We can give 1 minute time for audience to make a note.
Kind please indicate when 1 minute is up.
So we will have round robin evaluation also.
Evaluation of the evaluators.
Yes.
Not evaluators. Just 1 plus 1 also good. Rahul, you can note for the other evaluators.
Contestant number 2, Toastmaster Karthikeyan. Toastmaster Karthikeyan, contestant number 2.
I'm sure astrology would have played major spoil sport in all of our lives. To begin with, Toastmaster Sendel gave a great speech related to trapped in scientific decision. So he set the context clearly. He explained it's about persuasive speech, and what impressed me most is Guru shot, Santa drop. That was a nice catchphrase, and also he took us on a journey. I feel the major strengths of his speech is RGV, not Ram Gopal Verma, but it's very relatable. It had good humor. It was also versatile. And the persuasive speech should have a call to action, and you gave that correctly. You ended with a note where you have to, instead of believing in all these scientific, non-scientific and things like astrology, you have to believe in yourself. You need to have certain belief. So that was a good call to action. And there are few suggestions which will take the speech to the next level. I felt the transitions was bit rushed. So probably if if it was paced little right, it would have been good. And also, it would have been nice if there was some good vocal variety in your speech. Probably, when you speak about a good positive in a higher tone, and probably when there was some impact in a lower tone. To conclude, positives is RGB, relatable, good humor, and versatile. The influence being, if you can pace your speech and structure your speech the right way, it would have made even more impact. And also vocal variety. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep. Now, please indicate when 1 minute has elapsed. What do you call it? Thank you, Driver. Contestant number 3, Madam Toastmaster Hemalata. Madam Toastmaster Hemalata, contestant number 3.
Sentence started with a beautiful smile and a question. So, which actually had an audience engagement. So his speech was completely good, like it was more information and also humorous. So I have 4 recommendations and 4 commendation and 2 recommendation on this. So you did have a lot of audience engagement by starting it with a question. And he did describe the characters in the story. He was like bringing up Gopalakal, mother, wife, and so on. So the characters were well described. And humorous, like was the complete speech was like very humorous. Like he had humorous everywhere. Like saying civil engineer mixing cement and doctor selling Kodalithailam, engineer like he became an engineer during the recession period, marriage and sanitary comparison. So his humorous was like complete throughout the speech. And he also had a takeaway, that is like you have to own your life's own responsibility. So that takeaway message was there in the speech, which was very good. And there are a couple of suggestions which I would like to give. That is, like you had a lot of scope for vocal variety. So you did have a conversation with your Gopal uncle or your mother, whoever it is. So you could have conversed, like you could have made it as more like a dialogue instead of saying like he said this or my mother said this, my mother asked me to do this. Instead, you could have acted as your mother, you could have acted as yourself, and you could have conversed with your mother. And when like overall like in your speech, you were like depreciating yourself. You were like saying you were the frustration. You didn't get a job even after completing your job, and because of the astrology. And you went to astrologer. Leaving astrologer, you went to the astro talk, which is even more scam. So all this happened. So instead, you could have actually narrated what something could happen when you were not wrapped in this astrological scientific decision. So you could have said that like I left astrology after doing astrology, after following astrology, I had all this. When I left astrology, like what actually happened? So what is something positive? What is something good happened in your life? So that would have created a 360-degree impact, and we would have understood that, like, yeah, whatever decision you took is right. So overall, your speech was too good. Like, you actually had an audience engagement. You described the characters very well, and you had humor all over the speech, and you did give a very good takeaway message, saying that, like, we have to own our life's responsibility. And suggestions is like vocal variety could have been used, and you could have also said something which is positive, so that, like, you can actually complete, saying that, like, because of this particular decision, I was able to do this. It was a great speech. Thank you. Over to you.
We will give another 1 minute
To complete Hema's.
to complete the Hema's evaluation.